Correct. Okay, into the close. Stocks are more directional, so I stick to those that are trending up or down. Size for the day, but not. For me, it depends on the day. Sometimes I'll go bigger. Sometimes it depends on what the market daily closing. I think that's wrong. I don't know when this. I think that's an incorrect statement. I wouldn't say most people take profits. I actually like carrying trades. Good traders like carrying trades. Go back and you look at the vast majority of profits in the S&P 500 happen overnight. Yeah. You would have bought at close and sold at open on the S&P 500 over the last like you made a ton of money. But if you would have bought at open and sold at close, you hardly made it. So in my mind, the best time to make money is open. Moving high. I hate how this guy uses good idea. But yeah, 100%. Make money during the opening. Yeah, I don't know what this is or what this is, but I agree with most of what he said. Okay. Yeah, okay. Uh, the statement that is incorrect is most traders take profits, watch the markets throughout the day, and dominate last hour trading. Many of the market professionals take profits at that time to avoid holding overnight. Now, what is true, short sellers do not like holding overnight. You have to pay a fee, right? You can't control your risk as well. So yeah, especially on Fridays, like on the weekends, like Fridays should be days that you look for short stocks that are heavily shorted. So like AIF, like if this thing isn't just absolutely destroyed by Friday, you're going to get a pop out of this to get people out because they don't want to hold it overnight. I mean, over the weekend, they want to hold it for multiple days. But as far as long biased traders, like that to me is my favorite thing to do. I love waking up in the morning and being like, let's sell into this gap up. But you have to have the right circumstances for it, and you have to understand what the market is doing and where it is at the time. Like timing on it is everything. You can't have a blanket statement. So to say they sell into that last hour, no, that's not true at all. Will they take partial profits? Will they reduce risk? Will they? Sure, but like that's some of my favorite times to buy things is in that last hour. Like I want to buy things into that last hour, especially stocks. So like a stock that has performed really well for that day, I'll say, hey guys, I'm buying this here, and if we gap down, guess what I'm going to do tomorrow? I'm going buy more of it because the odds of a gap close are going to be high. And if we don't, well, then I'm in it, and let's take some profits in the morning, right? And so that's the statement that I disagree with. Um, but I agree with probably 90% of what he said. So I hate the idea that he makes this, and many people do this. They make the professional traders seem like they're all working together and they're the smart money. There's no such thing. Like that's one of the things that took me a long time to understand. There's no such thing as smart money. There's no such thing as professional traders. You've got very few traders that do well all the time, and those are people like David Tepper and his group, and you know Warren Buffett, right? But that doesn't mean everything that they do is the smart thing to do. Like Buffett's holding Oxy and he's bagged for a long time, right? Like, should we have followed him on that? No, it depends on what you're doing. But it took me so long to realize how dumb everybody is that plays the market. Like everybody is trying to figure out what everyone else is doing. And of course, the big dogs, the Warren Buffetts, the David Teppers, people are going to follow them and they are the smart money, but they're very small. It's the thing that it's the thing that Mike posted, the pictures of the book that he posted, just reading these books, the time frame. So like I agree with the open, that's 100% right. I agree with everything that he said on that page. Um, it talks about 10:30 to 12. It's much less volume. It's easier for the morning trades. Um, Midday, that's where I start disagreeing. Like I'll instead of keeping my tights, instead of keeping my stops tight. And I guess if you're an intraday trader and you're not willing to hold overnight, maybe this is something you need to do. But like for me, I'm willing to absorb a larger range because you can get more movement with less volume. Anyway, um, okay. So here, let's see what time is it. It's 12:44. So we're kind of in between the which one? So no, this is his midday. So this is it. So his we're applying what maybe we should break them up into these terms. Let's look for a midday trade, right? And so for me, the first thing I'm going to look at is the ones that have worked. So Tesla, well, old support, new resistance, right? Like obviously, if Tesla comes into this area, I think it's worth taking a shot at. Now, one of the things to understand about Tesla is that this thing moves. Like if I were to play, let's just say I would have bought 50 contracts on Nvidia. On Tesla, I'd probably buy 20. That's the size and difference because of the way that it moves. Um, it can move, and you make a lot of money, and you lose money. Right? It's the risk and the reward are magnified. But on Tesla, I love this 348 buy, 348.71 buy. I wasn't here. I'm not here. Okay, so what would be a play that we could possibly play that we could set up if then statements to get in? So what I'm looking at is basically above 352, right? If you see the VWAP, if you see the double bottom W, so what's happening literally right here, right now, is you're deciding whether it's going to be a W or whether it's going to be a descending triangle. And so if you think it's going to be a descending triangle and it's going to roll over and stop out, I wouldn't touch it. But if you think it's got a pretty good possibility of going and cracking up here and coming back to 354, I think actually buying right here, right now, that's fine. As long as you're risking these lows. Like you shouldn't, I wouldn't buy here and then buy again down here. Like I would be tight. This is where I would be. So for me, I'm not going to buy right now, but that's fine if you want to and risk down there. I'm going to wait and see if Tesla can break over 352. And what we've got here is on a shorter intraday time frame trade is this is the VP that you're looking at. Okay. I'm about to paste it. So you got in it? Nice. If I was here, I would have grabbed it. I probably would have bought some at that would have lined up. Maybe, maybe not. My earliest buy would probably have been around 350, and then add. Yeah, yeah. So VWAP, if you wanted to play VWAP, that's fine. Mine would have been somewhere between VWAP and 350 would have been my first buy. If you look at that, if you look at that Tesla VP, right? We've got that red thing that I've that's what we're going to call value, right? That's your point of control. That's your value. That's where people have found the most trading for the day, right? Okay, great. Now, if this goes above that area, we have a high probability of getting to what area? Looking at that chart, what would you say the high probability of getting to the next area would be? The chart that I put in the channel. And that should be our ultimate target for digging this ditch. Now, can we take profits before then? Yes. But ultimately, we should get to the next chunk, which is, put it in green, right here. Now, I'm going to put in blue. We do have a group of people that we have to get through that did create a VP, right? It's going to create some type of resistance. So what I look at that as is an opportunity to actually add more when it rejects off that 353, 354 level and comes back to the red level. So my ultimate game plan would look like this. All right, if we can crack above and create a W, I'll buy at whatever, 352, 352.05, well, whatever you want to put your buy at. Or if you want to buy now, great. And then I'm going to sell some at 353 and then sell some more at 354. Whatever percentage, let's say I want to sell 25%. And then if we get a retest back down to the red area, I'm going to buy back that 25%. Now, because I am buying a breakout, I personally, it doesn't mean you can't, I personally don't want this to go back below that red area. Like that red area's got a hold, or it's going to be a failed breakout. You're going to come back and be at the 345 area. So for me, I'm going to put a stop in before that area breaks. But the ultimate target is up there at that green area. And so what I would like to do is by the time we hit that green area and I sell, I want to be holding probably 25% of my position. And then maybe I swing 25% of my position over. Because then I've made enough money that I can try it. This makes sense? So there's one trade that we just created right now for a midday trade. Very easy. Now, the next one that I would look at is NVIDIA. That's the other one that worked. Great. Where's NVIDIA? I'm going to buy it right here. Right. Let me explain to you why. So we're putting everything together, right? So I think everybody sees this. Whatever pattern you want to call it. Inverted head and shoulders, whatever. We consolidated, we broke above, we retested yesterday, and took off. New highs. What's above us? Nothing. So what's the range that we got here? Well, ultimately, I want to capture price movement back to a minimum of 142. That's 7 points away. Was there a way that I can set up a trade that allows me to capture that? Well, yeah. I mean, I can do it right here, right now. I'm going to buy here. I'm going to add again at 131. I'll add again at 129. It's going to give me a 132 average, and then let's take profits at 140. There's an easy one. Okay, well, I don't want to give it that much room. I'm not going to be here to trade it tomorrow, blah, blah. Okay, well, how about a tighter trade? So talking about what this guy was saying, it's like, all right, it's fine if you want to give it a wider range, but it depends upon the situation, the stock, and what you're doing. So for me, it's like, all right, we need to hold yesterday's, I'm sorry, 2 days ago, 3 days ago, the breakout, right? We got to hold this. We have to hold that level right there. Everything that I do is going to be based off of that. Now, what does that represent? That anchor VWAP is going to represent these two, right? I keep saying 2 days. It's 1, 2, 3. It's 3 days. It's these 3 days of action. Now, is it wrong or right to make it higher or lower? No. You could actually say, you know what? I'm going to make it a little bit higher, and I think we should hold this level. Great. That's fine. And if we break down and then we hit this level, this anchor VWAP level, and then hold, well, just get back in it. If there's some kind of, like, I don't know, double bottom, inverted head and shoulders, some kind of bullish pattern, sure. So here's what I'm going to do on NVIDIA. So I've been playing their earnings series. I've got a bunch of different earnings series options that I'm just continually keeping and adding to my position. I'm going to stay with that. I'm going to stay with the February 28th. Like I've got like, I've been playing this thing down here. So I'm sitting on like 120s, 130s, 135s. That's what I played this morning was 135. So I'm gonna switch this to 140s now. They're around $5-6. So now I'm going to zoom into today's VP levels on video. And I want to see if buying right here is worth it or not. And the answer is no. I shouldn't buy right here. Now, let me post this VP and explain why. We are top heavy for right now, right? And that 135-ish area, 135.50-ish area, that's like your over under. If we break that area, we need to push 136 retest, buy. That's a buy. Otherwise, I want to buy around VWAP. You wanted to buy around VWAP and trade it as a VWAP trade or something like that. That, like, we're kind of in no man's land right here. Does that make sense? So, like, this is where I would have been willing to buy, down here. People are going to buy off of VWAP. It's a VWAP bounce, VWAP slap. There's tons of edges that people use to buy off of VWAP. I'm willing to buy it. Because then I can take partial profits. I can set up a free trade. I'm at resistance right now. I can't buy. It may have already created enough legs because when you look at this, like from a technical, what's happening? Well, all that's happening is broken out and you're retesting, right? You've broken out of this pattern. You're going to hit. You're going to retest it, and it may go. Right? If it does, it's going to give me the opportunity to get in, but I'm not going to buy it here because it's still at V. So now I'm going to create if-then statements right here on NVIDIA. If NVIDIA does come back to VWAP, I personally think it's going to break now that we've done this. So I'm not going to put in a buy on a dip down to VWAP, but I would put in a buy around 134, right here. I would love to see Nvidia do what Tesla's doing. Now, this 134 buy, I have to decide. If you look at those two, that picture that I posted, you look at the next level, it's between 132.50 and 133. That's the next level that I would bounce. So do I want to buy one there and then add again at 132.50, 133, and just get an average of about 133.50 and try to bounce it from there? Or do I want to buy the full lot at 133.87, stop out at 133.75, and then re-hit at 133? Either one's fine. Uh, for me, Nvidia is a I'm not going to put in any orders like I can on Tesla. It's a wait and watch. I need more information. If we can get a bounce between the two value areas, so for example, on that thing that I showed you, the thing that I pasted in there, let me. So what's happening on Nvidia is I'll put the value areas in green. Again, very close time frame, 1 minute charts. If you get a bounce, like what's happening right here, right now, right? If you can get a bounce that allows for some consolidation to hold that bottom green, I'd be willing to buy that. That's all right, bud. So on Nvidia, what I'm looking at here is it's like, all right, this is your real retest right here, right now. I'd be willing to buy this. So what I'll do is I'm like, all right, February 28th, 140 call. We're at what, 555? 560? Okay. Let's buy some. All right. Now that I've created this trade, I'm basing this trade off of this lower level holding. I'm not letting this break VWAP or I'm stopping out. Now I've got a multiple trades set up here on NVIDIA. I think it's going to hold here, here, or here. I've got a trade set up where I'm trying this one here currently, and I'll try it again at the lower level of 133. That's it. That's the two trades that I'm willing to do. All right, so we've set up some trades. And again, the thing to understand about this NVIDIA trade right here, and thinking about what that guy was talking about with his book, there's less volume. If you're playing a 0 DTE, you're going to get faded a lot because it needs to churn to create the legs, right? It needs to churn because of the volume, the less volume out. Understand that this time period needs to churn a lot. That's why I hate seeing things break out during lunch. It's just lower volume. Now, it also means, like on Tesla, if Tesla decides to break up, it could go from here to here very quickly on very low volume, which is an opportunity. But it probably means it's going to do that as well, right? So it moves both ways. Okay, so those were two that we were playing today that were like, hey, let's just look at what's working and we'll try it. Okay. So now let's see if we can find trades that we were not in. So my routine now is what I'll do is I'll come over and I'll look at Flow Algo and I'll be like, all right, let's look at the summary of what's happening on Flow Algo, and this can be somebody loading the freaking boat on Airbnb. Okay, so number one is Tesla. Number two is Nvidia. What do you know? We're in. All right. AMD actually. Yeah, get the flow. I love it. So what I want to do is look at AMD and say, hey, is there anything that I want to do in AMD? Not really. No. Okay, right. Intel. Man, Intel getting some massive flow too. I love it. So I think Melinda, you were asking me about Intel. If Intel can come up here and test this 25, 26 level, that's when I would be more likely to buy a pullback down to here than buying right here. Now I'm buying at the same level, but one has proven to me that it can get up and above, and the other hasn't. It's the same thing on Nvidia, like a very very tight time frame. I'm not going to buy the resistance of these people, but I will buy the support of these people. Okay, TTP. Did I get crushed? Baba, love it. Apple, look good. Oops. Apple strong today as well. Look at that. That flag looks great. Now let's look at the bulb chart. Uh, uh, if this was Monday, I'd be more likely to buy Apple than I am today. So I'm gonna pass on. Why Monday? Because it it's more trading time for me that I can adjust and like Apple right here right now. It the risk reward is about a 1 to 1, and if it goes against me, I have a couple days to trade to kind of continue to dig the ditch. But if this doesn't work now, I'm gonna lose money. If it didn't work on Monday, there's a chance that I would be able to work myself out of it. Does that make sense? Uh, like it's tomorrow, I'm not going to be trading. Monday we're closed. Tuesday I'm going to be getting back from the beach. Tuesday going to be a great day for me. I'll probably be resting from the vacation. So it's like uh, so now what I'm going to do is look through the my favorites chart. I kind of swing over here to my favorites charts and say what are some charts that I see I like and or so this 2 hour AFRM, I like it. I like it a lot. And here's what I have to do now. Now that I've identified a chart that I like that I want to play, I got to figure out if there's a way for me to play it safely, and I need to do that through BP. You've got really distinct levels, you know. So I'm just gonna put in the zones, right, and then I'm gonna swing it back to my 2 hour to see where it's fitting in, and see where the best buy points are. So, sorry, it's a 78. So like this is what I'm talking about. This is what makes trading art. Right? Like I can't buy this on the 78-minute TTM squeeze until it hits that green ADMA. That ADMA is below the support level above, and it's kind of in no man's land. I don't want to buy it. I want to buy it closer to 76, or buy it at 77 and have 77 hold. Okay, so knowing that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in an alert, and you can do it exact or you can guess or whatever. But let's say if we move this to like I would guess a 13, 14 EMA. Yeah, so all right. So I'm going to change this to be alerted when this thing pulls back to the 14 EMA. So I'm going to come in here, I'm going to set an alert condition, AFRM on the 78, add condition, choose condition, ADMA pullback. I'm going to put that in, then I'm going to change this ADMA. I'm going to make it 14. I'm going to have this last. I guess I'll do it for a week. Don't remind me next week. And then I'm going to put AFRM, ER winner, high short, possible bullish Friday, getting into lower. Okay. Got it if it pulls back to that area. Check. Boom. Now, maybe I want to play this higher, tighter level. And if I want to do that, I got to find an edge within it. So, do we have shorter time frame squeeze? We do have a 65. Do we have a 30? See, if we had a 30, we could do it, but we don't yet. All right. Well, we have something else that aligns. So this is interesting. So we've got a 65-minute inside candle that has triggered down. Right? We've actually triggered down. So on a shorter time frame, what could I play here? Anybody know? What edge could possibly be forming here? It would be RevStrat. You got it. Now, what I need to know for this RevStrat is what would be this candle's it would need to be this. Look at this candle. So I'm going to zoom into this, and that's basically it ends at 12:45. So basically 11:45 to 12:45. So somewhere in here. So to prove it's basically right there. If this starts making a higher high comparative to this, that's when I'm going to become interested. So I've got the possible breakout buy. I've got the pullback buy, and trade is done. Trade is set up. Now here we got to switch over to NVIDIA because it's coming down. Now this is going to be your last ditch effort, in my opinion, to save this. So think of it like this. What's happening right now is this box here, the value area low, will be bought up. What does that create? That usually creates double bottoms. If this doesn't get bought up, you should see a wash that does something that at least brings you down to VWAP, probably breaks it. And then at that point, you'll retest, most likely roll over. And if it doesn't, it's a failed breakdown, which is extremely bull. Okay, so AFRM trade setup on that. Yes. Yep. Absolutely. And the thing is like if you wanted to, it's fine. Like again, there's no. That's why I say there's no wrong way to trade as long as you're staying safe. It's fine to add to your position right here, right where you're about to stop out, right? Like you know, add another position, and what are you going to lose off of that? 30 cents. If it doesn't work. Man, this ISRG chart looks amazing. Ugh. So anyway, the point in doing all this, Melinda, is to show you how to do it. So like, I don't want to get too many positions on, but I'm probably going to buy this ISRG for the end of the day and swing this. Knowing it's February, we might go down. It's going to be it's remember second half of February is usually worse, so I'll probably do it with smaller size. But I this chart looks great. All right, so that's this twice. Looks like it. But here I'm going to just type this in again. Sorry. CEG again, same. Looks like this one. I'm in NRG, so probably get both this week. Yes. So I'm going to set an alert, right? So I'm setting alerts. I'm using this time frame to let's an 80 EMA pull, but I want it on. It just got up out of the video, so break. It did. So now remember your next zone, and this is the art form of trading. Buy here, buy here, buy here, buy. Like you can always find a reason to buy and try to bounce a level. For me, I'm not going to try to bounce this. I would rather get stopped out, have a failed breakdown, let it reclaim, and then I'll buy the reclaim, and or come down here, right? Those are the ones that I'm willing. Okay. Do you see how this candle here? See that high volume candle? That's the highest volume since 30. So with such low volume, right? That high volume has a drastic move on the underlining. I assume that that's what that guy's talking about. Oh, man. Keep coming, NVIDIA. Try it again. Okay. Keep running through favorites. SMCI's got a 1 hour. Yeah, this looks great. All right. So, this is the earnings pop up. It's a little bit kind of a funky, it's kind of a funky, there's NVIDIA. So NVIDIA's speeding up. So hold on, we'll get back to it. So we're coming into the zone. We're coming in quickly, right? So is there news? Is anything? So what you need to ask yourself right now is something going on. So yeah, so that's what I was about to say. So
Trump speaking.
oh yeah, you're right. So it's 1 o'clock. It's 1 o'clock when he was going to come on the tree. So yeah, okay. So there that is. Okay. Well, understanding. All right, this is news driven. It's not so much technical anymore, right? So I don't know. Has Charlie said anything? I want to try to bounce this, the spy, the cues, but I don't know. I don't know what's causing it. I don't know exactly if it's safe. Does that make sense? If I have to just stay put, I'm gonna throw in on X and see if I can figure out what's going on. Yeah, I don't know. I don't see anything. Trump probably said something, but I would normally. This is where I would normally want to buy it. I didn't know what it was, so it's fine. Let it. Don't FOMO on this. I promise you, we're gonna reject. We'll have a double bottom of some sort to try to buy. And if it doesn't, great. We're just gonna buy it back right where we originally bought it. And I don't know. I get so frustrated when I don't know what's happening. One of the things I think I do well is like, oh, left your house without the phone or something. So what I want you to do now is, if you were to look at the so looking at this, talk about on a breakdown. So using those previous levels. Now, and this is why I don't have a lot of losers. Like if you look at all the trades that I have that I recorded for you guys, be it the Apple account, I'm sorry, the Turtle account, be it the Rabbit account, be it whatever it is, I win a lot, and I have to do that because it builds me up and gives me the conviction. Some people can win once and you know make $1 million and lose 99 times and lose 500 and they're still up 500. I can't do that, and this is the digging of the ditch is why it's so important to me and why the Apple account is so much harder for me. Why do I keep calling it Apple? The Turtle account is so much harder for me because I can't do it as much. But if I had that 133 350 ish buy in, you would be selling some right. And if you bought at 132.50, if it rolls over and goes down there again, you're probably going to get another bounce. So it would end up being all in for a big one. Again, this is what I've created for my edge so that I can make good money safely. And the other thing to think about the distance traveled and all that kind of stuff. So on this particular instance, again, it's not the normal price movement. Buying that Nvidia dip, if if I was on my game, I would have switched it from the February 28th, and I would have played a much shorter time frame because you're gonna get that bounce very soon. Like it's not something that we're gonna have to hold overnight to know if it works. You bought it, nice. Sometimes you have accidents that make you money, and sometimes you have accidents that lose you. So now the next step, right? This is what I used to do with Efren all the time on minute by minute charts, playing it throughout the day. We can go through a whole day in like 30 minutes. The next step on this is the same thing that I was drawing on that one that I just linked. We just shift it down. So now instead of the two green zones fighting to see what's going to happen is, and I'm drawing this right now. I'll put it in red. Now you've got the two red zones fighting. See where we go. Yeah, if it comes back up and hits this 135, 135.50 area, like I'm all over it. If it comes back down to 133.50, you could play that as like a double bottom on the Tesla as well. I'm not going to. Like for me, I want it to come down to 133. So either do your failed breakdown here and reclaim VWAP and let's get it on, or pull back to 133. I'm not playing this middle zone. You can, it's fine if you want to. I'm personally not. So Melinda, let me ask you a question. Has Is this answering kind of what needs to be done after open? Yeah, and I'm going through my favorite charts and seeing and updating the new pieces, the new cards that I've got shown to say, yeah, this still looks great. I want to get in it. Hey, this one doesn't look quite as good. Maybe I should get it off my list. Set alerts to get in them. Um, and, and and the other thing I want to talk about on this Nvidia trade, if you're a bigger thinker, like I would say a not does this more than I do, but you could actually come in here and you could say, look, we've broken this level. We're running into earnings on the greatest company in the world that's growing at the fastest we've ever seen. They're all in here. I'm going to buy at 135. I'm going to buy at 132.50. I'll buy again at 130 because I'm playing these people. So this is why it's so hard to say this is what should be done or shouldn't be done. There's no wrong or right way to trade if you're protecting yourself. So if you wanted to buy the February 28th 140s and just break it up over this entire square up here, yeah, I think that's a great idea. All I'm trying to do is I'm trying to take every opportunity to buy at every support zone so that I can take profits on these dips, stop out if I need to, and I'm digging the ditch. But if you don't need to dig the ditch, so here, we'll try it. Here, let's find an edge that allows us to play this. We'll play it in the turtle account. And you don't even have to look at it. You don't have to do what I'm doing. It's hard to find a ditch right here, right now, though. No squeezes on it. Yeah, I see the ICB 10. You also got a 5 that is broken, right? The here just to set the example, I'm gonna buy one of these Nvidias. What are we? Okay, here let's draw up the plan and then we'll do it because we're not in a rush. We're not trying to scout. We're not trying to do anything. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna type it up. Sure. Buying Nvidia, buying Nvidia for a run into earnings. This is strictly a chart play with BP. That's the only edge. I am buying above the level. 128 level. Looking for a further push into gap. For this to break, this is what you always got to identify. You ultimately need to trap all these people and come back in and make these people sad. So what does that look like? 127.50 ish is that level. For this to break, we need to get below 127.50 ish area. Plan is buy now, then add at. So we're literally playing $7.50 of range on this. So if I want to break this up into 3 buys, my next buy would probably be around 130, 150, maybe. So let me actually buy February 28th, 140 calls. At 540. Now we're looking for $7.50 down, right? So if we were to come in and we were to look at the option chain, and the delta is about 42, and it'll get less as we go away. So let's just say 40. All right, so 40 times 7, that's $2.80. About $3 lower. So that would mean, so 250 would be the last ad. So the middle ad would be 250 to 5, so 370 ish, $4 somewhere around there. Let's go at 375. Okay, so now the question is, what do you want to risk? What do you want to buy? 10, 20, 3. So let's do I think I don't want to get to 6. I want to get to 6, so that would be 2 at each one. So buy 2, then add 2, then add 2. So then I come in here, buy to open, buy to open. Now, now, just mathematically wise, math, what's our risk? 50 plus 40. That gives us about 380 cost basis. And if we're risking, let's say 225, right? Minus 5, that's a buck 60. A buck 63 per contract, right? The one contract will lose me $163. So multiply that times 6. That's your risk. Now, are you comfortable dealing with that? If you're not, change it to 1. Or buy lower. Buy 1 here, buy 2 at 375, and then buy 3 at 350. There's a bunch of different ways to manage risk. Is it? Did I do the math wrong? Here, let's see. It's 250, 540. Yeah, no, I said yeah. It'll be somewhere around there. Crazy spike in arm is your news. Oh, so let's find out what's going on in arm. Arm secures Meta as first customer for ambitious new chip. Wow, that's a big deal. That's a big deal. That's legit news. What we call legit. So let's play it. So on these guys, it's you never know how high these are going to go before it rejects, or you got to be willing to buy and sell quickly and just take the loss. Like, you can't argue, hold and add, and I'm like 65 that level on. What I'm playing is the February 21st 170. I've got 50 at 375. Start taking some off. 450, 17. Pull. Buyer of this pull. 350 add. Try to sell this ad out. And off the ad. I got some more off the 87-ish. Ad. Putting in some on the higher side to see if I can get filled. 5. So that ad at 350 is now completely off. Um, that actually lowers what I've got left, right? I'm going to put a stop. I'm actually going to put a stop in at 3. I don't think we're going to get down there, and I'm giving it a little bit more room. But I've taken some good profits off of this, so I think if it does come down to 3, I think it'll be either a small loss or a small win. Is AMD tanking? Marlon probably knows this better than I do. That maybe they thought Meta would go with them. I bet that's what that is. Okay, here comes some dumping on ARM. I think this first pullback on ARM is going to be viable. Don't think it's going to get lower than 3, but it may. Hoping it would come in a little bit. So one thing to understand about what I'm doing here on ARM, um, did I chase? Did I chase this, guys? What do you think? You call this a chase? I was the first one to hear the news. The second one, third one. I would call it a chase. So there's some news that I think it's okay to chase, but you still have to safely chase. And I gave it a lot of range. So anyway, I think this is a good example of how you can safely chase. I also got filled on some Tesla shares. Tesla must have holding Tesla. Yeah. So Tesla broke that level. I guess that's what killed me. I'm gonna hold off. I got shares on it. Well, I'm trying to get filled like on the low side on these on ARM, and they're not coming down and filling me. It just means there's still some buying pressure. Okay. You know what time that PR came out? I didn't know what time that PR came out for ARM. 36. So look, somebody, I guarantee this person knew. Guarantee. Okay, so on ARM, we are up and over, right? You're talking 177. Okay, able to get off some more of the ARM. Hey, give me one sec, guys. I gotta Okay, I'm back. But let me repeat it back to you. So you're when you say you're nailing the exact bottom, so the gist of what you're saying is your timing's off, right? It to me it just sounds like you're getting your zones wrong. So we just like obviously we're having trouble like if it's a one or two time thing, it's like yeah, maybe there's some kind of news or something that happens, but if it's happening often, then it's just the ability to identify the zones correctly. So honestly, the best thing that can help with that, and I know I'm not the greatest with schedule and all, but we just need to, you and I need to do it together, set up the plans beforehand. But like, you have to be selfish enough to say, hey, Donnie, let's drop A and B right now and set up some plans for selling to open some calls, puts or whatever. But it's hard when a stock has gone from 170 down to 100 like this, like it's hard to sell covered calls wrong, unless it's like super short dated, unless you're doing like if you're trying to do your where you're making money intraday, that becomes a lot harder. So is it you're having trouble more intraday? Is that what it is? Yep, you're screwed.
so-called. So,
Yeah. I'm gonna ask you to be selfish, and next week just remind me. Let's again, me and you need to drop A and D and focus on it like all week, and not just one day. We need to do it every day. Like we need to get 3 4 days in a row for the repetition. Like in soccer. I tell Dash freaking exercise, and so he'll exercise once a week. Jump higher. You're not gonna. This has got to be routine. This has got to be your new life. You know what I mean? And so we need to do it like three or four times next.
I'll set up charts and stuff. So,
Yeah, 100%. And what would also help me is if you sent me stuff that you're doing now that's not working, so I can say, all right, well, yeah, not only just stop doing that. Where's your brain now, and where do we need to get to? Hey, anybody get this arm pullback? I love it. I just made $2,820. That covers half of our expenses for this weekend. So you guys want to hear a funny conversation? This is just now. I'm not saying one's right or one's wrong. My wife calls me and she says, "Hey, can you wash the sheets?" Yeah, I can wash them. She says, "Can you actually dry them too? I don't want to get home and have to remember to dry them." I was like, "Yeah, I'll try my best, baby. I promise. I might forget." Right. And he said, "Just set an alarm." And I said, "Baby, would you rather me make $5,000 or $6,000 or dry the sheets?" And she said, "You could do both." And I was like, "No, you don't understand how men's brains work." you know? And so she's like, "Just set an alarm." I'm like, all right, set an alarm. So, that's what I was just doing. I know, right? Let me pay somebody $1,000 to come over here. Let me make $5,000, and they can take care of whatever it is my wife wants. But the reason that I had to wash the sheets was I left a Reese's cup on the bed, and so there's chocolate on my side. So yeah, and you want to hear something even more funny than that? Um, that's the second time this week that I've got chocolate on the bed sheet. He's like, "Seriously?" I'm like, "Baby, I didn't eat any chocolate last night. I don't know where that came from." Yeah, second time, Melinda. Second time this week that chocolate on the bed sheet. So we've already watched it once because of that. Okay, so this arm, I think this is something that we need to add to the favorites masters watch list. This is a news play. It's legit. It's worthy of seeing how the market's going to react to it. I've taken enough profits where I can actually. I'm going to hold like five. Uh, just see what happens, and then if we do get a big enough dip, maybe we can go out until like March and or April. Okay, I'm gonna take a little break, guys. I'll be back in about for power hour. My goal for this Melinda was to just show you how I'd look for trades and what to do during this middle time period. I think trading the end is trading the beginning is probably this middle part was always the hardest for me. So I hope it helped. And let me cut the